We are live.
Yay! I am an extremely weird looking old new dude today because my camera's doing something, and he is.
Jimmy Orchestras, True Son. And happy
Don't forget
Monday,
to fall
sis
down the
Tris.
fact. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't read the chapter,
Oh,
the
yeah,
last
yeah. This
Dany
is
chapter of the Death
Danny's
Dragons,
last
you're in the
chapter.
wrong spot.
King Just One, happy Monday, everyone. Uh, two elevations out of four broken, so I'm staying home. Hello, family. Two elevators
Hey,
out of four broken. Oh, two elevators out of four broken, so she's like, I'm not waiting in line for that. Fair enough. Good evening, everyone.
hey,
I'm
Christy.
not waiting in line. All right, fair enough. So we'd gotten she dreamt of her dead brother, and you know his hair was burnt, his face was black and smoking. You are dead, Dany said. Murdered, though his lips never moved. Anyway, this is what we have in our notes is about where we left off. We didn't check the end.
If we went further, it wasn't really in depth. We were sitting there looking at
Yeah,
time.
we were deliberately skipping through things. I started like reading just spots and stuff because um, we knew we were running out of time, and we're trying not to quote too much so we can do these things.
Yeah,
Oh, this part's hard not to just quote the whole thing, right?
there's quite a bit.
Yeah. Hello, deck of cards.
Hey, deck cards.
Good evening, Christy. I don't know if I may have missed that one. Not sure. Anyway, um, murdered though his lips never moved. Somehow she could hear his voice whispering in her ear. You never mourned me, sister. It's hard to die unmourned. I loved you once. Once, he said so bitterly it made her shudder. You're supposed to be my wife, to bear me children with silver hair and purple eyes, to keep the blood of the dragon pure. I taught you who you were. Yeah, well, I don't think you taught her accurately.
Right. I think that's a key line in there. If what we're saying about him knowing that Stormborn, that she was bastard
Right.
born, and
Yeah, he
keeping the
may
blood
not know,
pure. I think it is that he knows that she is Targaryen blood, but from the wrong side of the sheets.
which is arguably true since this is a story of Richard III, Siege of Wintergreen's episode one.
Right. I mean, he might have the same view as all Southerners that think any vows said in front of a heart tree don't count.
Right,
But
right.
still,
He probably
in this
he's probably okay
world,
with bigamy. He's probably okay with
yeah,
bigamy, but
oh yeah, in this world, she's the closest family he's got, being that she is of
well,
Targaryen blood.
if he can interpret her birth as um, not trueborn, he's
Hmm.
going to want to do that, right? Because otherwise, she's descended from his older brother, and
Hmm.
that that would be put her in front of him, arguably in the line of succession, and so he wouldn't want to acknowledge that.
Yep.
Taught you who you were, but it's still, the point is he's teaching her wrong, right? She's not who he,
Yeah.
whether it's because she's not who he thinks she is, or whether it's because she's, but anyway, and that's part of the dragon's no to you, right? Anyway, I sold our mother's crown to keep you fed. You hurt me, you frightened me. Only when you woke the dragon. I loved you. You sold me. You betrayed me. No, you were the betrayer. They cheated me, your horsey husband and his stinking savages. Cheats and liars. They promised a golden crown and gave me this. You could have had your crown. The stars would have won it for you if only you had waited. I waited long enough. I waited my whole life. I was their king, their rightful king. They laughed at me. You should have stayed in Pentos with Magister Illyrio. It was your choice, your mistake. You want to wake the dragon, you stupid little whore?
Well, I mean, she's got a point. They had to take her to the Dashkaline, so that part of the trip is not. It's not like
Yeah,
he would have stopped halfway there and go,
yeah,
"Oh, I got to give you all these men. Just go
yeah.
get
And
you."
Illyrio tried to tell him that he shouldn't go too, if I remember correctly. And
Right, right.
um,
But I remember saying with the hidden fingers theory and those that move the pieces on the board. your biggest character flaw is your downfall, and his biggest character flaw was his impatience and the
Right.
and the all the wrongs done me in my life scenario. The anytime conversation was had, it turned to him. It was the what about me? What about me? I mean that was used against him by those that moved the pieces for sure.
I paid for them with your maidenhead. You never understood. Dothraki do not buy and sell. If you'd waited, I did wait for my crown, for my throne, for you. That's kind of an interesting line right there.
Yeah,
Why
I
did
don't. I don't think he sees her until Essos.
for you? Yeah,
You're on
yeah.
Dragonstone.
I waited for you. Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely some times in there where it's sort of implied that the house with the red door was her home but not his home, and if she was there for a long time, and then maybe he wasn't. So
Yeah.
anyway, why did they give the dragon eggs to you? They should have been mine. I would have taught the world the meaning of our words. Well, the meaning of your words is to not tolerate slavery and to not compromise with slavers and to instead engage in civil war if necessary. That's from Fever Dream, right? Fire and Blood is from Fever Dream. When Abner Marsh finally wakes up, he's been thinking that abolitionists want to tear the country apart, and so he refers to them as goddamn abolitionists. But then he finally accepts the fact that no, they have it right. Fire and Blood, right? He the whole the whole story about the vampires is that they're white supremacists essentially, and that's Abner Marsh waking up to the fact that you know you shouldn't be compromising and tolerating a society that allows the evil of slavery. If that means you have to have a bloody civil war, fire and blood, as he says, then right. So that's it's her words are specifically in reference to the idea that you should.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, sorry, I should put this on Do Not Disturb. I usually remember to do that, but anyway.
They need a new phone. Who this button?
Oh no, I've got that button. I've got the Google call screening, so I sort of have a button that can do that. But anyway, I'm surprised. Sometimes the settings get reset and stuff. Anyway, it's supposed to screen the calls for unknown callers, but it didn't do it. Anyway.
Yeah, but I know the
I know,
main,
Kirsty. I know. I was getting a phone call.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Kirsty. Because a lot of times I won't hear it and they will. So I appreciate you at least letting us know.
Yeah.
But I know the message in Fever Dream, but the Valyrians, they had slaves upon slaves upon slaves digging in their
It's
minds.
not the
right?
Valyrian words; it's the Targaryen words.
Oh,
That's why David Lightbringer has this video series. That's why David Lightbringer has his the Doom is an Inside Job series of videos, or I don't know if it's a series of videos, but a couple videos.
Targaryens were in on the
Doom. Yeah.
So I mean, their views on slavery in Valyria, would that be one of the reasons why they were the lesser dragon lords? It's because they didn't share the same views as the other dragon lords?
Yeah, no, they did believe they did themselves have slaves, but that's
right.
But that's not the same thing as having slaves that are working to death in mines, right? And so,
right.
viewing the treatment of the slaves of Valyria as unacceptable doesn't necessarily mean you're a complete abolitionist, right? So,
right.
So they weren't necessarily opposed to a slave relationship that was where you treated your slaves well, but they were opposed to the slavery in Valyria. So,
okay.
So that's David Lightbringer's theory is what happened. And so, yeah, so the theory goes that they sold a Valyrian steel sword to the Lannisters, and the gold of Casterly Rock wound up being the downfall of Valyria, because then they use that to hire faceless men to kill the right. And
This
so
is
that
why I like having the conversation, because there are certain things. Because I've said it before. I I've recently started watching content from other uh, uh, YouTubers, but there was a long stretch of time that I stopped because I did not want it to influence my opinion. And
all right. Well, that's good. Now we can ruin it for you by telling you that that I'm wearing a lemon gate shirt for a reason.
okay.
Or maybe that's what you're saying, because we actually have been talking about that some, haven't we? So for those that want our quick version of Lemongate, Dany shares a single mind with her horse in the first book. She sees a vision of a wolf in the first book. She has a dream where she has to decide whether to become a fiery dragon or icy cold death howling forever alone in the darkness in the first book. Those are her choices of which half of her to be. Right? She later she sees specifically Rhaegar as Darth Vader, and he lifts his shiny black visor so that she sees her own face. And if you don't get what that means, I don't know what to tell you. You need to watch the first two Star Wars movies in the chronological order they were released. Uh, the what else? Anyway, the point is that we do very much believe that one of the correct answers to the question of who is Jon Snow's mother is Lyanna Stark, but that's not the only correct answer at the time, and that doesn't mean that there aren't three children on the page and one on the screen, to paraphrase the Scarlett O'Hara quote that George gives over and over again about the differences between the books and the show. So anyway, we happen to believe that Val is actually the oldest of the Targaryen triplets. That it's somewhat ambiguous from the show and from the books whether Jon or Aegon is the Aegon born at the Tower of Joy in the and that if you look at the storyline of the show, they were really more focused on Aegon born at the Tower of Joy than they were on anything related to Jon Snow. In fact, they showed a secret wedding so that Jon Snow wouldn't be a bastard, which could be a reference to Ned and Ashara. So anyway, the point is that Val, as the eldest, well, Arthur Dayne. So one of the reasons why we like this theory is that there are lots of clues that Arthur Dayne is in fact Mance Rayder, and everybody says that can't be, because why would he do that? Well, he would do that if he went north for a woman, a crown, and his cloak. If he went north for his white cloak, the woman was Val, and if he went north for her crown. And we're told that those are the three reasons, right? And so the point being that this is a story about Dornish law and the erasure from history of female rulers and female heirs. And if House Dayne and Arthur Dayne represent this concept of Dornish law and the erasure of the female heir and so forth, then he would in fact be willing to go north for that. So for a crown, a woman, and his white cloak. And so we like the triplet Targaryen theory, which I originally heard from Can I Try To on Reddit, who was referring to the Great Busey on Reddit. And it sort of all clicked. It wasn't much of. I sent you a link to it back before Reddit started doing this whole token thing and searches and stuff. I'd sent you a link to the Great Busey's comments on the triplets and stuff, and there wasn't a whole lot to it. It was just I've just been toying with this idea, but when I heard that, I was like, wait, that makes everything fit, and that makes the whole theme of Dornish law and the erasure of female heirs fit. And anyway, so in terms of our vibe check, like I said, we might not pass when you know all about us. But anyway,
You blame the algorithm. We're sorry.
yeah, exactly. I did wait for my crown from my throne for you. And as we were saying, that's interesting. All those years, and all I ever got was a pot of molten gold. Why did they give the dragon eggs to you? They should have been mine. Well, they gave them to her because she could hatch them. So, um, and as we said, if Illyrio says that he didn't expect them to hatch, but if his moves only make sense if he did expect them to hatch, our characters can be lying, and you should assume that if it makes more sense for them to be lying, then they are lying. In fact, Tyrion tells you that conversation is a lie, and yet there's so many people who say, he never expected them to hatch because he said that.
Well, Arthur is the biggest liar of them all. I mean, he's been lying his whole book. So, I mean, of course, these people.
And as Toodles would say, he loves to plant a grain of truth in his lies, right? And have them be true in a certain, if you look at it a certain way, as Cersei would say.
The hound is at rest.
Yep. When she woke, gasping, her thighs were slick with blood. Yeah, we talked about this. So it's a pale crescent moon,
it would have been.
And she goes on to say that it has to have been that it has to have been on a full moon when she has her blood, and this was a pale crescent moon. So it's almost as far away from her cycle as it could be, and it's you were theorizing that the poison berries that make her sick might have been a historical tree's back.
Hey.
So the poison berries might have been an abortifacient, right? She may have had an abortion by suddenly finding herself eating all these berries and getting sick, and then.
Well, I think that the miscarriage or unintentional abortion of Dario's child, I think that's more of the pieces or the those that move the pieces playing, because she tastes the berry. She thinks she remembers eating something like it. So her memory is used against her to just pop these things in her mouth. And then we have, I mean, it's been a hot minute. Oh,
She got her shark toy. She brought it over to me. Kimia, ready? Go get the toy. All right, sorry about that. Sorry for the earthquake.
That just made that made the whole live stream right there.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Anyway.
Well, I mean, she tried to remember the last time she had bled. The last full moon, the one before that, the one before that. No, it can't have been so long as that. So it's been at least a month or two. Because if the last one's too far, then it's either a month, the first or second, which would be a month, 2 months.
Right.
Or moons.
I am the blood of the dragon, she told the grass aloud. Once, the grass whispered back, until you change your dragons in the dark. And our friend, the Green Bard, has a great video on this and this idea that, LML would say, David Lightbringer would say that dragon dreams come from dragons, and Guy would say that the grass talking and basically everyone that isn't Quaithe at a minimum is Drogon. So sort of a waking dragon dream, if you want to go with that interpretation.
Now I'm on the Green Bard's side on that is coming from the dragon, but to throw out even theories that we don't support but could possibly be true is that it is, if it's through the wind and the grass, it's Godspeak.
Godspeak, sure. So it could be sent by the old gods, or time traveling Bran, or the Great Other, whatever you want to interpret that. Yeah. Drogon killed a little girl. Her name. Then he could not recall the child's name.
I'm sorry.
Sorry?
I was doing a little Eminem there.
It's Hosea, right? But anyway, that made her so sad that she would have cried if all her tears had not been burned away. I will never have a little girl. I was the mother of dragons. Aye, the grass said, but you turned against your children. As she splashed her face, she saw fresh blood on her thighs. The ragged hem of her undertunic was stained with it. The sight of so much red frightened her. Moonblood. It's only my moonblood. But she did not remember ever having such a heavy flow. My name is...
Yeah, that's what I said. My name is mine
Historical
when she
tree.
said her name is or never mind.
Oh, okay.
Historical got
Oh,
it.
okay. It's a reference to your Eminem thing. Okay.
That's what I said. I was doing Eminem, not actually doing Eminem, but saying Eminem's line.
Follow the stream. It will take you to the Skahazadan. That's where Dario will
Oh,
find
what
you.
happened
What's that?
there? It says oh wait a minute. I do not ever having I do not remember ever having such a heavy flow. Could it be
Right.
the water? If it was the water, she was doomed. She had to drink or die. So the
No, it's the
author is
berries.
giving us an explanation that's probably wrong because our characters are often
Of
wrong
course.
on
Of
why.
course. Right.
Yeah, so we need to
That's
prepare.
the way you make it. That's the way you make a rereadable series. By the way, is the number one thing you do is you make the characters give you incorrect assessments, especially of other characters. But
Mhm.
anyway,
Unreliable narrator.
unreliable
Words I
narrator.
wish
Yep.
I'd never heard.
Yep. And that's something that is often associated with George's mentor, Gene Wolfe. See that Asterisk True Points on YouTube channel.
I've never heard you mention that at all.
In fact, if we take this off, you can see that.
You mentioned Gene Wolfe as much as Quinn the GM mentions John Con. Okay.
Okay.
No, he loves John Con. So
All right. Fair enough. Follow the stream. It will take you to Skazan. That's where Daria will find you, which is an interesting statement that because anyway, she's theorized that maybe they would have released the hostages because of peace or something. But anyway,
the whole they're leaving type thing, the piece and all that, she's completely way off. I don't even know where that comes from.
she made herself take a step and then another, and then she was walking once again, following the little stream. So again, this one step and then another. It's John and the Frost Fangs, and then it's Sam, and there's a bunch of other times too, but those are the two that jump out at me. Right, the first
Yeah.
one that we really notice is John the Frost Fangs, but where people really
Everybody
notice it is Sam.
Yeah, that's generally what most people think of when you talk about it is Sam's job.
Right. But it's very, very
John.
dominant in the Frost Fangs when John is climbing as well.
Yeah.
And that's
I want to say
earlier.
Arya going to Harrenhal also.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other ones. She was walking the stream. How long has she been doing that? The stream will take me to the river, and the river will take me home. Except it wouldn't. Not truly. Have we been given any details about how actual dragons mate? Because there's weird sex stuff between Targaryens and dragons. Yeah, it's interesting because about the only thing we have is this idea that dragons are male and then female and then male again and so forth. That's other than that, we don't have a whole lot on that, right?
Yeah, it's the Jurassic Park theory. That they switched
which I still say is silly to refer to trans frogs when you've got the largest land reptiles that we have. If there's no males around, will give birth to the male clone of themselves. They'll lay eggs that will hatch as the male clone of themselves, so that there will be males in the population. It's an observed phenomenon of isolated female Komodo dragons. So anyway, you don't need trans frogs.
I would think that the place to get that kind of information would be Fire and Blood. Consider that it's a
and like I said, there's not much information.
I think we get a whole lot. You would think that with dragons stirring beneath the shy or underneath the shy when Bran does his fall, and George originally planned on Dany going to a shy, that's where we would have found out more about the Targaryen or the Valyrian dragon connection, more things about the dragons. But with him not going to take her there, I'm assuming it's going to be through a Quaithe visions of a shy, and more information about the dragons.
Kirsty says the river will take me home. Makes me think of Mother Royan. Yeah, absolutely. There are lizard species that reproduce asexually exclusively, an entire species of females.
Yeah, we agree.
Absolutely, that's what we're saying. It doesn't make any sense when we've got actual lizards that would be laying eggs to start bringing in frogs that change gender, and they change in the wrong direction for the example anyway. So it doesn't even make any sense that that's what you're bringing up. But anyway, that's what bothers me about it. It's like,
Yeah, see, I've never read the book, so do they take that from the book, or was
yeah,
that a movie thing only?
I'm sure it's taken from the book, but um, anyway, I don't think I've read the book either, but I'm pretty sure it's taken from the book. Alice mentioned a frog under the ice or something in today's episode. Ooh, spoilers.
What's that?
There was something about there was something about I didn't understand what she was talking about, but there was something weird about frogs or something. Yeah,
Where's this at?
in the show. This,
Oh, okay.
she says in today's episodes, which she's talking about House of the Dragon. You have to remember, it's like 1 a.m. in is it Perth? Is that where she is? Anyway, Australia somewhere. Made me think of Jurassic Park. Okay, so anyway, let's get back on topic. Except it would, not truly. Marine was not her home and never would be. City of strange men. Grace was earned through whoring. Butchery was art. Dog was a delicacy. Marine would always be the Harpy city, and Daenerys could not be a Harpy. Never, said the grass in the gruff tones of Jorah Mormont. You were warned, your Grace. Let the city be, I said. Your war's in Westeros, I told you. Yes, Richard Perth. Yay, I remembered.
I apologize, I did not, but I have a memory problem.
I'm pretty sure your immersion is Australia, though.
Yeah, I remember Australia, yeah.
Okay. The war is in Westeros, I told you. So, again, this is still no more than a whisper. Somehow Dany felt that he was walking just behind her. My bear. She had missed him so. Just want to see his ugly face. It's worth remembering that he's ugly in the books. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, I apologize, but my memory sucks. But I don't know if he covers this on his theory about the images coming from Drogon. With Drogon coming back when he needed her and then flying her to her new Dragonstone and not listening to her, did he bring her there to make her remind herself who she is?
To put her in a state of deprivation that would open her up to more psychic conversation or something. Yeah, I like that idea.
Physical state, because he does not have.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that video, but
he doesn't have Weirwood Paste or Shade of the Evening to open up her mind, but to get her so physically drained, to get her in that altered state kind of thing going on, to really just kind of hammer home. Remember who you are, because the dragons don't want anything to do with the Queen of Marine. They have no use for her whatsoever. Drogon definitely doesn't want anything to do with her. But
yeah, her talking about how
Dany the dragon.
Her talking about how his daughter would be horrified, but Dario would sit down and remember that if you've read Adam Feldman's analysis, that which we did on this channel, by the way, that Dario represents war, and the dragons represent war, and Hisdar represents peace. So Hisdar is supposed to be disgusted by war and desiring of killing the dragons because he's against war, and they represent war.
Ooh, I just thought of something.
What's that?
Only death can pay for life, right? If it was a miscarriage, the death of a unborn baby pays for Dany the Targaryen to be brought back to life.
To be born. Okay.
Yeah, basically reborn.
I'm dreaming, also, she said. A walking dream. A walking dream. A waking dream. A walking dream. Well, I'm alone and lost.
Pregnant, give me a second. If she's pregnant and they go to Westeros, she's not marriage material as much as if she was not pregnant. So her miscarriage.
Right. Yeah, so it's certainly important for that and for that and yeah, for multiple reasons. Yep. Lost because you lingered in a place that you were never meant to be, murmured Sir Jorah as softly as the wind. So there goes your wind, Godspeak
Godspeed.
kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Alone because you sent me from your side. You betrayed me for home. Home was all I ever wanted. And me, you wanted me. I did, the grass whispered sadly. You kissed me. I never said you could, but you did. You sold me to my enemies. But you meant it when you kissed me. I gave you good counsel. Save your spears and swords for the 7 kingdoms, I told you. Leave Marine to the Myronese and go west, I said. You would not listen.
Oh, hey, on the Godspeak thing, remember we were talking about the moon as a satellite, and that's how they use to
Mhm.
view like the Independence Day. The aliens are using satellites to get around the world because the signals don't bend. So like Doran waiting to the moon was full before he opened the letter about Oberyn, this communication stuff. Arya using the moon to the warg Nymeria. The wind does curve with the earth. So messages or Godspeak doesn't require the moon and can be done during the day because the wind keeps going, right? So
Okay.
God
So
Godspeak would be
and like George has left himself huge out for at least for Bran, right? With the whole, you'll see beyond the trees themselves, right? What well beyond the trees themselves, or however that line goes. Like that's everybody focuses on this whether or not something takes place near a weirwood, but that's not a limitation for
time
them.
travel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to take
Sorry, I
Marine
won't
or see my children starve along the march. You took Marine, yet still you lingered to be a queen. You are a queen in Westeros. It is such a long way. I was tired, Jor. I was weary of war. I went to rest, to laugh, to plant trees and see them grow. I am only a young girl. When she likes to play the innocent, as Barristan would
right,
say.
right. I mean, I was tired. Okay, let's stop and think about this. Granted, her life sucks. I'm not going to argue that. All right, she marries Drogon, her son and stars. It sucks to begin with. She falls in love with him, and then Mirror happens. The tent happens. All right, the red waste sucks, but then she finds the oasis, starts building back her strength. The hair is growing. The horses are getting better. The men and women are getting better. They have water. They got fruit, and then you got Karth. Uh, and then things are good at the beginning of that. Everything's nice. People are getting fed. They got clothes. They got a roof over their head. They got people kissing their feet, and then it kind of starts to sour. And then they get the ships. The ships. Then they go to Astapor. Astapor's not what she expected, and then she does the whole flipperoo. And then it's they march. She's not been in war that long.
Yeah.
I mean, because they do Astapor is not a war. That's slaughtery. I mean, that is
Yeah.
sheer butchery.
Her being
So
weary of
she
war is
leaves
a little strange, but yeah.
bypasses Yunkai, so there's no war there really, and then goes to Marine. Um, and then through trickery on that one kind of ends it quickly too. So I mean, I don't know what war she's tired of, uh, and then playing the whole young girl thing. It doesn't. That's the Queen of Marine
Mm.
is talking. That's not Dany the Targaryen talking.
No,
No,
you are
that
the.
made any.
I'm only a young girl. No, you are the blood of the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
The whispering was growing fainter. Dragons plant no trees. Remember that. Remember who you are, what you're made to be. Remember your words. Fire and blood, Daenerys told the swaying grass. So she's, even though she was just talking to Jorah, now she's addressing the grass.
Yeah.
So as she stumbles, she turns her head to look for her bear. All she sees is trickling brown water and the grass still moving slightly. The wind, she told herself. Only no wind was blowing, and the grass was moving when it had no cause to move. And so now she's immediately realizes she needs a weapon. So,
Oh, hold on a second.
Children of the
On the
forest.
Godspeed. Yes. On the Godspeed, the wind stops. The voices stop. So now she's only talking to grass and not to
Hmm.
Jorah because the wind stops. There's no Godspeed talking to her. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, maybe. But of course, this what's actually happening is she's recognizing that it's hoof beats. She's hearing that it's the
Yeah.
Khalasar, right? She
But
feels the
the whole
vibrations. She knows what's
yeah,
going on here. She immediately knows
right,
she needs a weapon. She's aware of why this is happening. So
right,
the number of times when I read this and was like, wait, is Drogon having flapping his wings? Is what's going on here? No. She feels the vibrations of the approaching Khalasar. That's what's going on there.
right.
She fumbled in the water, found a stone the size of her fist, pulled it from the mud. Yeah, so it's a poor weapon, but better than an empty hand, right? So she knows she's about to have her confrontation here.
Yeah.
Then he saw the grass move again off to her right. The grass swayed and bowed low as if before a king, but no king appeared to her. Well, it's because you are the queen. Anyway,
Yep.
through the grass came a soft, silvery tinkling. Bells, Danny thought, smiling, remembering Khal Drogo, her sun and stars. When the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and the mountains blow in the wind like leaves, when my womb quickens again and I bear a living child, Count Drogo will return to me.
You do
And
not realize that the sun rising in the west, setting in the east is Quentin. When the seas go dry is the Dothraki sea, and mountains blow in the wind like leaves is actually the mountain, and that something's going to happen to him. So after those three things, which one's already happened, if Preston's wrong, and Quentin is truly dead, and the seas go dry, which she's already talking about how dry the Dothraki Sea is getting as it is with autumn coming. So that one's either happening or just happened or might happen here soon, and that only leaves the mountain. Um, and I don't know if it's Clegane Bowl or whatever's going to happen to him, but I mean, the mountain's going to fall for sure. So maybe after all that, then Khal Drogo return.
I don't think Khal Drogo is returning, but okay.
I know, man. I'm just reading the words.
All right, fair enough.
Man, I
None
could
of
hope
those. I don't think he's coming back.
it
But none
might
of
be
those.
actually Khal Drogo might actually be
Now there
anti
could be
beard
ways in
living
which
cow.
you could argue that Drogon coming back to her is that he represents Khal Drogo. He's named for Khal Drogo, and that's you can make that argument.
Right.
But none of those things had happened. Bells. Her blood riders had found her. Aggo, she whispered. Jogo, Ricaro. Might Dario come with them? So Aggo is the kills with an arrow. Jogo, if you want me to jog, you better have a whip. And Ricaro is literally if you take the word Eric and you move the A to the end and add row to it, you get Ricaro. He's the swordsman. So George, at least that's how I remember which one's which. But anyway,
Doesn't he
that's
have a Valerian steel part?
no. Not
No.
them. The one with the Valerian steel Eric is the captain that's with Quentin at the corpse killer.
Yeah.
Corpse
I
killer.
remember. Okay.
Kago, I think's his name.
One of them's got the
Kago corpse killer.
dragon bone bow,
Yeah, it's
right?
Aggo. Aggo,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. My bad.
Yeah. That's why I said I remember it as Aggo kills with the arrow because that kind of sounds that's how I remember it. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Ricaro is the tall, handsome swordsman because chicks dig a tall swordsman. Rise with Makoro. Anyway, might
Yeah.
Dario have come? Might Dario have come with them? Green sea opened. A rider appeared. One rider, and alone, a scout. He did not see her though, so the grass concealed her, and he was looking elsewhere. Then he followed his eyes, and there the shadow flew with wings spread wide. The scout stood frozen until the stallion began to conquer in fear. He woke as if from a dream, wheeled his mount about, and raced off through the tall grass at a gallop. So this could represent hidden fingers, random leaping, right?
Yeah.
That he doesn't. He gets stunned and doesn't look around at her.
Yeah, but the sight of a dragon would I mean you're
Do that by
fixed. I
itself,
mean,
sure. Sure, it can do
Yeah,
it by
if
itself.
she's not moving, and trust me, if a dragon's flying over me
It's gonna get your
in a
attention
potential
too.
field, yeah, in a potential field of fire, because that stuff's going to take off quick, I would be petrified too.
Dany watched him go. When the sound of his hoofs had faded away to silence, she began to shout. She called until her voice was hoarse, and Drogon came, snorting plumes of smoke. The grass bowed down before him. So,
As for King,
yep. Dany leapt onto his back. To go forward, I must go back, she said. She kicked him, and Drogon threw himself into the sky. Her whip was gone, so she used her hands and feet and turned him north by east, the way the scout had gone. Drogon went willingly enough. Perhaps he smelled the rider's fear. In a dozen heartbeats, they were past the Dothraki as he galloped far below. To the right and
now
left,
the
Dany glimpsed.
Drogon went willingly enough. Perhaps he smelt the rider's fear. Do you think that perhaps he smelt the rider's fear will play into Viserion and Rhaegal helping in the Battle of Fire on
Maybe.
what they do?
And of course, Toodle's theory is that one of them is already trying to help them because it's the one that's enjoying flying and being less annoying to them. is Quentin living his second life inside a dragon?
I kind of like that. Go ahead.
It's called the Dragon Tamer.
Yeah,
it's called the Dragon Tamer.
Yeah, all those haters of Quentin is still alive. You know how I like to combine theories and everything. So that would still be true if he's living his second life in Viserion. So that's pretty cool.
So one thing that's wrong with this, perhaps you smell the rider's fear, is that they go right past him, right? So he's not actually interested in. He's not trying to catch the rider. He's trying to do what Dany wants him to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she sees that he's burned this area before. A vast herd of horses appeared below them. There were riders too, a score or more, but they turned and fled at the first sight of the dragon. So there's only 20 of them. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Horses broke and ran when the shadow fell upon them. Such as they were, they could not fly. One horse began to lag behind the others. The dragon descended on him. All at once, the poor beast was aflame. Yet somehow he kept on running. George loves this nightmare symbolism, right? The horse on fire. Like he did that with was it Smiler? Is that the name of Theon's horse?
Yeah.
Screaming with every step until Drogon landed on him and broke his back. Then he clutched the dragon's neck. The carcass was too heavy for him to bear back to his lair, so Drogon consumed his kill there, tearing at the charred flesh as the grasses burned around them, the air thick with drifting smoke and the smell of burnt horsehair. Dany, starved, slid off his back and ate with him, ripping chunks of smoky meat from the dead horse with bare burned hands. In Marine, I was clean and silk. What would my noble husband think if he could see me now? His star would be horrified, no doubt. But Dario would laugh, carve off a hunk of horse meat with his arak, and squat down to eat beside her. What about here? Catch you alive for the first time.
Like what's that?
Love your lives, guys. Really insightful. Oh, thank you, Maester Kenobi. Maester Kenobi.
I like it.
I love it. I love the name.
Yeah. That goes well around our house too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Our one fan. No, I'm just kidding. She keeps putting, and George keeps putting Dario in a Targaryen kind of light. You know what I'm saying? With his dyed hair and everything, his eyes.
Yeah, I was just saying that he is the dragons, but I wasn't thinking about what that meant. Yeah. We've talked about this before. Dario claims that he's lived basically thousands of years, right? My days have numbered as the stars or something like that. Like he's and it's right next to the chapter where the ghost of Highheart tells us it's been 1,000 years since she had a kiss. And everybody like blows it off, but there ought to be, we know that there are people with supernatural long lives in this story, right? Brendan, for example, is an obvious one. Melisandre is sort of implied. Leaf walked among the humans for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Brendan Rivers, his long extended life is it comes at a cost. It's not the
Sure.
1,000 years or centuries upon centuries. He's slowly being
Consume, sure.
consumed. Yeah, by the tree. I was looking for a better word to consume, but that yeah, his is not
Absorbed.
the true what we've seen in the story or in the tellings of older
But
stories and all
the
that.
point is that if you're in a world where there's multiple people who are capable of living long lives, you would think that there would be somebody similar to Melisandre who would realize that Dany is Azor Ahai and that would make their way to Dany. And how would they do that? Well, if only we had an example of how you would best approach Dany from, say, a point of view character. Let's call him Quentin for some reason. And what we would do is you would join sellswords, betray the sellswords, and go over to Dany. That's that's how you would get to her, right? So there should be characters trying to get to Dany, and we know how you get to Dany, that would have long lives that recognize what's going on here and want to get to Dany, and we know how you would do that. And we have a character who tells us that he's thousands of years old, and people just blow it off. And I'm like, I don't know about
On
that.
to Dario, the fighting Pit the Marine. He was awesome at the. Nobody recognizes him in Marine.
Yeah, it's almost as if
Rimrood
it's
is
been
a
a
great
long time.
fighter in Marine and all, but nobody. Strong Bellawas doesn't recognize him. Other people in Marine do not recognize him. Other pit fighters do not recognize him.
Oh, Kirsty's right there with it. Oh man. In Chinese myth, dragons are known to have purple whiskers. Dario is the only character in text with purple whiskers.
Kirsty bringing the
Boom.
knowledge.
Boom.
Yep.
As usual.
Dario.
Dreams
Now,
dreams of glass candles.
there you go. Now, my theory of the super green seers. I know there's somebody else that I didn't know they had the theory when I came up with my theory, but I can't remember
Yes,
who they are.
definitely out there.
Theirs was before mine, but I didn't know. But theirs came first. So the super green seers, we're told that the power does not transfer when you move into the next body. When you die and go to another body, your second life, the power doesn't transfer.
Uh,
The whole reason that there are all those skeletons that Bran sees that did not fly is because a super green seer, if they can find another body that has the same power or close enough to a strong skin changer or at least a weak green seer, they take that body and then they're living their second life. They push the other person back like Bran does Hodor. They're living their second life. And then when they're already starting to look for the next life after that, in case something happens to this body. So then they go to
speaking
their
of,
third life and do the exact same thing over and over and over again. They can live thousands of years as long as they're finding the next body to jump in.
speaking of second lives and theories and other people posting the theory before you do. I was writing up that lady was leaving her second life in Sansa, right? I wrote it up. It took me a little while to write it, right? I posted it, and the next thing I know, I see somebody else say the same thing. I'm like,
Mm.
did they copy me and reword it? And then I look at the timestamp. They wrote it. It posted 2 minutes before me while I was working on my tweet, and I was like, darn it! Now it's like I copied them. I
Yeah,
was
but how
off.
you type all that up in 2 minutes, though? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, when I first started this channel, I'd only been really watching a couple of channels, and then mainly Ori the Green Hand. Quinn's Ideas was in there. His Those That Move the Pieces, or I forget if that's the exact same title. Lightbringer. Um, um, but like I said, once I started doing this, I just want to have a conversation. I would jump on some live streams here and there and ask a question. My question would get shot down or whatever my theory was. But I just wanted to have a conversation. But then I started finding out the last video that I watched influenced how I thought on a certain subject. So I started cutting down the amount of videos, other people's videos that I watch. Now, if it's one that you recommend, 9 times out of 10, I'll watch it just because you recommended it. But I still try not to. And here lately, what I've been watching is theories on Winds of Winter or a subject that I already have strong feelings on that I know it's not going to sway me, but just like pointing out Godspeak
You might
on the
notice
wind,
some
I
examples
want
that
to make sure we cover this theory and then the opposite. The
nice.
Drogon's giving her visions, or it's
Yeah, we
Godspeak giving her
definitely like to do
visions.
that, right? I definitely like to point out things that could imply.
Yeah.
The Jojen pace, which I think are the actual eyes of Green Dreamers, Green Seers, etc., pass the powers on. So that's an interesting idea. So could that mean that that
Jojen's
Jojen will
wrong.
actually take over? Will actually take over Bran? That's an interesting idea.
Mm.
Does Ned kill Lady
Well, I mean,
himself in the books because that could explain some of Sansa's actions, particularly when she snitches to Cersei.
yeah,
Oh, and
Ned
yes,
does
yes, he
kill her.
absolutely does.
She kills Lady with Ice.
Yeah, and who was it? Who was it that was it Moon Man that had a theory that explains that? Yeah, Moon Man is the one who says that we're going to have a payoff on Cersei saying that it was a near thing, right? So his proposal is Peter claiming that he was going to whether or not it's true, claiming that he was going to side with Ned until he realized that Cersei had Sansa as a hostage, and that's when he gave in and went with Cersei. So that's and yes, Maester Kenobi also confirming that. But anyway, so it's an interesting idea, right? This idea that we need to that it doesn't make any sense for Cersei to be claiming that it was a near thing, but that it could have a payoff. That it could be Littlefinger saying, "Oh yeah, I was really going to go with your father, but then Cersei had you, so I had to, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Something
Well,
like
I
that.
mean, on the Littlefinger Ned situation there, we see through Arya's eyes that I think it's through Arya's eyes that we see Littlefinger freaking out about Joffrey calling for Ned's head. No?
Nope, nope. He's the only one he's the only one that seems to expect it.
Oh, was it Varys then? What I'm thinking of?
Yeah, yes, it's Dorcas that does that. We like to call Varys Dorcas because Varys is Dorcas. Again, see my video, the Asher's Trueborn Sun channel on
We had just talked
Book of
about
the
it,
Sun.
and I was like, man, he's got to. I'm looking through, because red is associated with glamour, so I'm looking through all these characters after the disappearance of Varys, who have red in their description. Giles was one of them with his red spittle, all that stuff, or red handkerchief, but whatever. So, and then I'm like, Varys has to be somebody glamored in this story. And then Richard's
Yeah,
like,
I hadn't
Dorcas.
read the Book of the New Sun. I hadn't read the Book of the New Sun when we came up with that either. I searched for who do people think he is. I found one person mentioned that he was Dorcas, and I started looking at it and like, that seems right. and I didn't even know the name. I didn't realize that the name basically says that Ferris is Dorcas. I didn't because I hadn't read the Book of the New Sun yet at the time when we came up with that. But
As much
yeah,
as
if you
you
read
talk
the
about it, I should, but like I
if you
said,
read
with my, I'm so scared because I have to keep going over stuff. I keep forgetting stuff that with I have really hard time uh, um, locking in short-term memory. I don't want to read another book series and it replace this one. I'm scared of it. I got books
yeah.
behind me. I got the Dragonbone chair. I got the Witcher
It's hard.
series.
It's hard enough keeping track of the difference between the book and the show, and accidentally thinking that things that happen in the show happen in the books and so forth. It's already a
That was
problem.
the other reason I just went through the seventh or eighth reread was to make sure to try to alleviate the confusion between the show and the books.
Well, I mean, we could potentially do it if we did it, and we're constantly comparing it and how it might right. If we went through, we could potentially do like a chapter by chapter read of Book of the New Sun. If we tried to tie it back and explain differences and so forth. Have you played The Witcher? Historical Tree wants to know.
Chris is the one that played it. I played it, but not very well. Um, apparently, my hand-eye coordination sucks. But what I did play of it, I loved. I would have to ask Chris King Christopher Mudd which version I played, whether it was the first, second, or third. I can't remember. I think it was three of them. But what I played and what I saw, I really, really liked. And I will say, I am a huge Henry Cavill fan. This whole household is a huge Henry Cavill fan. The show did Geralt and Henry Cavill dirty. That's my take on that.
What's your 3?
All right, thanks, Chris.
Just us. So we already mentioned this earlier, but Daria would laugh. Carve hung horseshoes dark, swat down deep beside her. As the western sky turned the color of a blood bruise, she heard the sound of approaching horses. Dany rose, wiped her hands on her ragged undertunic, and went to stand beside her dragon. That was how Cal Jocko found her, when 100 mounted warriors emerged from the drifting smoke. And we should probably read the quote.
Now, if they really respect what somebody rides, as Khal Drogo had the finest horse in the Khalasar that he rode, to see they may have seen her riding the dragon, and then to be there beside the dragon. I mean, do they all drop off their horse and bow or whatever to Dany, or is there going to be some dragon fire? Or I read I heard. Did I hear or read? Was it Preston's chapters for Wynn's fanfic with her trying to get on Drogon and him not wanting anything to do with her and her falling in the dirt? I'm not too sure.
I don't remember. It was
I think her and Drogon are on the same page right now. Good.
If I look back, I am lost. It was a cruel fate, Dany said. Yet not so cruel as Magos will be. I promise you that. By the old gods and the new, by the lamb god and the horse god and every god that lives, I swear it by the mother of mountains and the womb of the world. Before I am done with them, Mago and Code Jocko will plead for the mercy they showed Aroa. The Thraki exchanged uncertain glances. Khaleesi, the handmaid Eerie explained as if to a child. Jocko is a call now with 20,000 riders at his back. She lifted her head. And I am Daenerys Stormborn, Daenerys of House Targaryen, of the blood of Aegon the Conqueror and Maegor the Cruel, and old Valyria before them. I am the dragon's daughter, and I swear to you, these men will die screaming. Now bring me to Khal Drogo. Anyway, all we have left is the epilogue.
And then the sample chapters.
And the sample chapters, of course. And
which sample chapter, if I'm right on the copyright rules, seeing how only the sample chapters that haven't officially been published in any form, I think we can read more of, but I still kind of like the way we're doing it now with more conversation time, instead of reading a paragraph.
If they're readily available online, then would you go after YouTubers for them, right? So if they're on GitHub, then why would you go after us?
Mm-hmm.
So we could read them if you want.
I have to go back on something I said, and I only clicked on it because it was a short, and then I realized what I was looking at. I don't know what the thing is. It's YouTube Shorts. It's using AI, as much as I bitched about AI last week, and it shows book version and show version of characters. It's like 4 characters, maybe 5, but it looks like it's taking I watched the whole thing. It's only 20 seconds, maybe. I forget how long it is. But it looks like it's taking the artwork that somebody else did to do the faces for, I think it was Brienne. I forget who Brienne. I forget. I know Brienne was in there because Brienne.
So giving the descriptions from the book and asking AI to produce the image and comparing that with the cast. Okay.
Now I was kind of gobsmacked there at the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Then I realized what it was, and then I was pissed off at myself for being happy with it. The Brienne, they have the actress, and then as book, and then the story. They have Brienne taller, and the horse face freckled artwork that you've seen for her is the image of her face just made to look more realistic. And that's what I got mad. At first, I was like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Oh, wait, no, this is AI." And I got mad because the AI stole the artwork that somebody did for Brienne and then made it into the image without any credit to the artist whatsoever. But at first, I was like, kind of had my mouth opened up a little bit, like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then it took me a second to go, "Oh no, man, it sucks." I felt bad considering how much shit I gave AI last week.
I like AI for its abilities to proofread and code review, especially. Code review is pretty good at. But anyway, I don't think the future is giant data centers being inefficiently running NVIDIA chips. And I've said that on this channel before that if you're invested in NVIDIA or if you're investing money in giant data centers, I think you should pull the plug on that because I don't think that's the future. Anyway, I think the future is probably like the cheap AI stuff that runs really well on Apple hardware. But anyway, AI lies so much. Yeah, it definitely will. It definitely will try and give you an answer when it doesn't know anything, and just because this is what it is a statistical model of what the answer is. So it's like it's probably this. Here's the answer. It's amazing the number of people that have
my wife would not let my phone have a female Spanish, or not Spanish, but Scottish accent. So I will not sit there and have a conversation with AI because my wife won't let me.
All right, let's wrap up. We're past on time.
All right, the new viewers are appreciated. The ones that catch us,
absolutely.
Appreciate.
Mr. Kenobi, nice to have a fan who's able to show up. Awesome, yeah, it's also an awesome name. Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. But we do this on our lunch breaks. We do it for an hour. And our next one will be on Wednesday. That's just a theory day. There's no chapter read or anything. So no theories off topic. Tenfold's welcome. And
I usually, for those that are interested in the Book of the New Sun video, which is only like 3 minutes long, it's on Asher's Trueborn Son. I usually leave a comment, so you should be able to click on me in a comment to one of these videos if I remember, and click view channel and see it there. And there's also the Triplet Targaryens. Cheers, guys. Take it easy, everyone. See you all next time. Thanks, Kirsty.
All right, we'll see y'all Wednesday for Theory Day. Y'all have fun. Take care, and bye. Bye, Richard.
I'm good.